welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you how to fix and mix custom colors using mixed media. I made some pouring acrylic paint out of turquoise from Artisan. I added Primal Flow pouring medium, and I had a bunch of deco art. I had 2 jugs of it, and so I poured that in and mixed it up, and it was way too thin. So now I've got to figure out how to get it thicker, which brings me to this book that I use as a reference. I use this as a guideline. It is 1500 color mixing recipes for oil, acrylic, and watercolor by William Powell, and this is kind of like my paint Bible. What I do is I go back to the index and I look up what color I want. Now this is a landscape and I want oil, acrylic, and watercolor, or I will find the, let's see, where is it? It's acrylics and watercolor. There's skin tones, color tones, landscapes. There's a conversion chart. Where is my index? I should have marked it. Mouth color, ear color, facial planes, all kinds of stuff in here. Color recipes, intensity recipes, value recipes. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff in here. I can't find there's a spot that is for acrylics and watercolor. So I go back and I look at my turquoise here and I try to match the exact color. According to this book, turquoise is a mixture of phthalo blue with a water level, meaning how much water do you add to bring it up to that color. My turquoise is just a slightly bit greener, and it says it needs viridian green, and I don't have any viridian green. So now what I need to do is, I have phthalo blue, I have some mixing white because I don't want to add water because I need to thicken this up. These are very heavy body paints. So you'll need heavy body paints to fix your too thin of a mix, especially since I started with just a mica powder. So what I did was I poured just a little bit in here. It's, maybe 1/8 of an inch in the bottom of the cup. I'm running out of phthalo blue. So I'm going to hope that the phthalo blue and the mixing white will be enough. If I need to add green, I'm going to try the phthalo green. So let me get my book out of the way. I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mess up my book. So I'm going to squirt a bunch of this blue in. I need more blue. And I'm going to add my mixing white because this is another heavy body paint. And I'm going to add some more turquoise because I need that intensity of the mica shift. So now we're going to stir this until it's mixed, till everything is incorporated. That's way too dark. Now if I wanted to make it this dark, I would just make sure that this is all mixed together, but I need to add more white. And I might need to do a titanium white versus a mixing white because the mixing white is more transparent. So it's not going to bring up the level that you want right away. But this is a shade lighter, so that's good. Get some titanium white. I'll use some Amsterdam here. This is a thick body paint. It's a little softer than the Grumbacher. Okay, now we have it brought up to another level, several levels. But you see how thick this is? This is very good and thick. And when I mix it with this really watery stuff, it should make it to the perfect consistency. This is too blue, so I'm going to chance it. And I'm going to add just a dollop of green right there. Can you see that? See if we can get it to a green color. Less is more in this instance. Okay, now I did just about another three dollops. Okay, now we're getting there. I think I need just maybe 2 more dollops. And when I say dollops, I give it a little squeeze, a little bit comes out, and I call that a dollop. Adding more white, still just a little bit on the dark shade. Okay, so now I'm going to add this a little bit at a time. Well, maybe half of it. Okay, now see, I don't have any mica powder look to it. So what I need to do is, I'm going to pour some, this is just a resin, that it's hard. I'm going to pour this in here so that I have a reference to what color it should be. I'll pour the rest of that in here, give it another stir so that it's pourable. This is all trial and error. When you get the color you want, then you're perfect. However, I added way too much phthalo blue at the beginning, so that's why I'm trying to bring the value back up. So this is pourable. So now I'm going to pour it into the cup so I can have my mixing cup here. So I think my phthalo green is too blue. So I'm going to add some bright aqua green because that's more the color I want. Now since I have a thick body paint in the cup and there's just a little tiny bit in there, this is going to incorporate much better than if you had straight pouring medium. Another thing you can use, Floetrol is a thicker pouring medium. You see the graininess of this? We have to do a lot more stirring. Make sure you scrape the sides really well to get everything down in the paint. But when you do just a little tiny bit of paint with this mica powder, it mixes much easier. So you never want to do just a big old glob of like Floetrol pouring medium and then dump your mica powders in. You'll be mixing forever and it still won't even incorporate. So we're getting there. Right now I'm going to add some Floetrol. That's about equal parts. So you can do you can do this many ways. I'm just showing you this is how I concoct my recipes when I make custom colors. And then when I screw them up, this is how I fix as well. I shouldn't have used the Deco Art pouring medium. That is a very thin pouring medium. It's good, but it was just too thin for what I wanted. And that titanium white took away a lot of the shimmer. So I'm just going to dump this all in. Give it a stir. So now what I'll do is, for future reference, if I want to make a turquoise, or fix a turquoise, I'm not going to use phthalo blue or phthalo green. I'm going to use bright aqua green from Liquitex Basics. Because that was much more the color when I added just a little bit of mixing white. This is still too blue. So now, instead of just dumping paint in, I need to get rid of some of this paint. So we're going to pour it back in to my bottle. The reason I'm doing this is because when you mix a heavy body paint, that's just what I'm going to call it for now, just so you understand the terminology. When you mix a heavy body paint with a thinned mixture, you're just going to chase the paint around. This is not going to be the same color that I wanted because I don't want to add any more white. So I'm going to settle. And this is a choice that you can make because I have no more product to put in there. I don't want to add any more white because that the opacity of white takes away the mica shift. So I'm going to settle for this color here. So I'm going to just pour this in. And I will bring the book back and show you that this is a turquoise, according to the guide. because there are so many varying shades of turquoise. Now, remember how thin it was? Now this is a very thick. There's just a slight shimmer. And now at this point I can either thin it out or I can leave it as it is. But let me get the book back. And that's just a choice of yours that you can make. According to the guideline in the book, 114, 116, and 118 is turquoise. So I'll bring this up here. This is 114. Phthalo blue and water level. Here's 116, Viridian green. And 118 is Viridian green and 10% of phthalo blue. This one is 50-50. But I would consider all of these pretty much a turquoise. So whichever shade you wanted is the recipe that you would follow. As far as water level goes, not for acrylic pouring. Water would make it way too thin. Oh, sorry. So this is too thick. I'm going to add a little bit more Floetrol. Still too thick, so I'm going to add some 90% water, 10% Floetrol. That was maybe 2 teaspoons for this 16-ounce cup, and I probably have 15 ounces in here. Slowly mix so it doesn't splash out over the cup and get all over my hands and my beautiful clean work surface. Ew. Okay, that's perfect. So now we can decant it back into the bottle, and this color is mixed. If you're interested, I'll put a link. Well, actually, I'll put this in the description, and then you guys can Google it and find the best price. I got this off of Amazon, but I lost my affiliate link. This has been a really good reference for me. I can't remember things like that. I don't do this every day, all day, so my mind just doesn't retain it. But this is a very good book, so I highly recommend it. So I want to thank you all for stopping and watching this with me. I appreciate all of your comments. Subscribe if this is your first time here and you liked what you saw. I do all kinds of DIYs, mixed media, acrylic pouring, resin art, sewing, wire work, all kinds of things. How to fix things. So if you want to see those, please subscribe so that you can be notified when a new video comes out. We'll see you next time. Love you. Bye-bye.